Data revealed in the Daily Telegraph today that I think is really important. It's shown that Centrelink fails its own standards with more than 130,000 claims stuck in a backlog. Now, these claims are for things like the pension, carer payments, disability support. It's simply not good enough, especially in a cost of living crisis. Joining me to discuss this is the reporter who uncovered this, the Daily Telegraph's federal politics reporter, Angira Bharadwaj. Angira, I hope I didn't mangle your surname. Take us through what you found and why it's important.
Thanks, Steve. You did a good job. Thanks so much for having me. So what these figures show us is that it's not just that you and I think that people are waiting too long. It's the fact that Centrelink is failing its own standards. 133,000 people are still waiting far too long for really, really key welfare support payments. Like you mentioned, the pension, the lower income card, the seniors health card, all of those payments are facing quite a significant delay.
So what does the Government Department, Services Australia, I think it is, what do they say, Angira, when you point this out to them that they're failing their own standards? Have they got an explanation?
Well, they haven't denied it, which is a good start. And they say that it depends on two things. Obviously, there have been workforce shortages, but also it depends on the complexity of a lot of these claims. They say that they've had 3,000 new workers come on board. Now, all of those workers aren't yet trained, but they say they're starting to see a slight shift in some of these figures. I guess it does depend on whether or not this will make a difference when all of those workers are trained and fully embedded into the system, and if some of these backlogs will be reduced.
Of the categories that you looked at, is one worse than another? Is it, people waiting on unemployment benefits to come through? Is it, God forbid, someone who's applied for the pension knowing that they're now eligible for it and they meet all the criteria, and that they sort of put in the application and it disappears down a black hole? Was one worse than the other?
Yeah, there were certainly some categories that did a lot worse than others. The pension was one of them. Other categories worth noting with significant backlogs were the seniors health card, we had the lower income card, job seeker also had significant delays. We're seeing people wait more than 84 days for the age pension. And just before jumping on, I was having a look at the Daily Telegraph website, and we had several readers tell us about their own personal experience. And one man mentioned that he waited more than 5 months for his pension application to be processed. And in a time like this, when every dollar counts, it's really not good enough.
And the thing about it, Angira, which you've uncovered here and which I think is really disturbing, try dealing with one of these departments when something doesn't go right for you. It's impossible to deal with them. And to find someone to talk to is hard enough. And then when you try and explain it and they can't fix your problem immediately, and you go round and round in circles, and these poor people could be waiting, as you say, for months.
You're completely right, Steve. And I think it's really important to keep in mind that these are some of our most vulnerable Australians. They're people waiting for really crucial welfare support payments, and we're really putting them through the ringer.
Great work, Angira. We'll look for your updates in the Daily Telegraph tomorrow. Thanks for your time tonight.